Okay, I think I'm live on Instagram. Hold on. Facebook's a little bit slow this morning. Come on in. Here we go. Okay, I think I'm live. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the PT on Ice Daily Show. My name's Jessica Davis, and I am lead faculty for the Performing Arts Division. And happy Tuesday, happy Cinco de Mayo. So today what I wanted to do was do a little bit of manual therapy techniques. I think it's nice sometimes to have a little refresher. And what I wanted, my goal was to do some different type of cervical type of manual mobilization techniques as well as stabilization techniques. And these techniques I actually learned from Evidence in Motion in my fellowship from the amazing master clinician Tim Fearon. So they're not mine, but I have found them personally very useful in the clinic. So one of the things that we struggle with in the neck is the combination of the classic forward head posture, right? So what does that result in is we end up having, as we know, hypomobility in the upper cervical spine, hypomobility in the lower cervical spine, thoracic junction. And then that tricky area is that middle cervical spine, right? C4, C5, C5, C6. And those are the areas personally that I find are the most challenging to work with, right? And where do we see most radiculopathies? C5, C6. So the question is, well, we do a lot of mobilization to get actual mobility in those areas, but oftentimes, and I would say more often than not, we actually need that stability in that region. So how do we help our patients properly recruit? So we do a lot of deep neck flexion strengthening, but as with the lumbar spine, when you're working with that hypermobile athlete, sometimes just getting that refined, localized position of your hands to help initially facilitate that muscle control can be very, very beneficial. So I'm going to show you kind of different techniques that I use for different things, and we'll just have a little fun today is what I was thinking. So, okay, so bear with me. I'm going to play around with my camera. All right, so go ahead and lay down. So here's my husband. So poor guy always has to get recruited here because I don't have another body to work with. Okay. All right. So I apologize for those of you listening to the podcast because this is something that you're probably going to want to look back and actually view if you're interested. Okay. So let me angle this down a little bit here. Okay. So I'm hoping you guys can all see. So I'm going to have you lay facing the side. So, and I'm going to change the angle of this camera here. All right, good morning, everybody. Happy everybody's here. Okay, so one of the techniques that's very helpful that I have found is side glides, right? So we do side glides often in a supine position, and we know that with radiculopathy, this side glide type of, combined with a upper limb tension test can be very beneficial. But sometimes with that acute hot radiculopathy patient, it can be difficult to get them supine, and I'm sure some of you have experienced that, and what you can do is, of course, get them into a little extra cervical flexion, but sideline can be quite a comfortable position. So what I'll have my patient do is choose actually whatever side they prefer. So I want them to pick the side that's most comfortable for them, and I'm going to show you why it actually doesn't matter what side to do. So for Justin, I'm going to have him this way so that you can see what I'm doing. So what you can do is from this position, okay, and I'm hoping you guys can all see. I'm going to try to get that camera as close as I can for all of you. Okay, all right. So what you're going to do is your bottom hand is going to grip along the body of the vertebra that you're intending on moving, okay? So where do we lack movement, right? So we know upper cervical, but really this tricky area, right, C6, C7, can be a difficult region. So what I can do here in the sideline position is I can really grip on, and the beauty of the neck is that it's 360. We can get all angles, and so that's what we're going to go into today. I know you guys have all learned excessively the central PAs and unilateral PAs, but sometimes it's nice to have options in different positions. So I'm going to take my bottom hand and I'm going to use a lumbrical grip. So I'm going to come up underneath the cervical spine. And what I'm going to do is the segment I am intending on moving, basically I'm just gonna wiggle it up and down, so just in this position, and that's why it doesn't matter what side your patient's lying on. So I'm gonna show you what happens. So the top hand, you wanna make sure you're not choking your patient, because nobody likes that feeling of compression, and you really don't wanna, tap out or make a patient feel like they have to tap out, right? We're not doing that. We're just gonna get the patient comfortable. So I'm gonna come up underneath the segment of intent, using that lumbrical grip, and then my top hand is also in that lumbrical grip, okay? But I'm not grippy with my fingers. These are rested, and this is just kind of going along for the ride. And what I'm doing is I find the segment that I want. So right now I'm on C6, and I'm gonna come up over, and I'm just gonna literally pick it up and bring it back down. Pick it up, bring it back down. So I'm hoping all of you can see this. Pick it up, bring it back down. So this can be, how do you feel? Good. So you want your patient to feel comfortable, right? But you can see how much movement I'm able to achieve, and this can be quite comfortable, and I can come even down and really get on there, up and down. So I'm hoping you can see that. Now my body mechanics are not ideal because this table is probably not the perfect height. I would suggest when you do this that the table's a little lower, because as we know with all manual therapy, where does it derive from? It's going to derive from our body, right? So ideally what you would do, and I'm going to show you so you can see my hands, I would be going this way with my legs. So that, in that side lying position. So not so much my hands, right? Hands are not comfortable. When you use your body, it's going to be more comfortable for the patient. Okay, so I really like that as a technique. So now we're going to have our patient supine. Okay, laying your back. Okay, and I might play around. I think you guys can all see this actually good. All right, so this is a very nice technique to get mobility in the areas that you want to get mobility, but also to get some activation and some motor control of our deep neck flexors at the segments that move too much. So, oh gosh, that's our puppy. Go ahead and, okay. I am so sorry. I'm going to just talk to you for a second, and I'll demonstrate these techniques. We got a new puppy. We're those COVID people that got a new puppy. Actually, bring her over so I can show her. I'll show you who she is in just a second. She's super cute. But let me demonstrate with my hands, and then we're going to come back. We're bell training, so if we don't honor that, our dog is going to go to the bathroom. Here she is. Just to make everybody a little happier. This is Arya. So for those of you who watch Game of Thrones, she is an Arya, and she is quite spunky and a very strong-willed puppy. So anyway, here we go. Thanks, honey. Got her. Okay. So what I'm going to do with this technique is I'm going to come up underneath the cervical spine, and my hand position, so you guys can see on Instagram, is this position, and all I'm going to do is lift up, right? So if you can see here on Facebook, so I'm going to take my hand position on the segment of interest, and I'm going to lift up. Now here's the key. We need to think about the plane of the facet, right? So I don't want to be lifting directly vertically, okay? I actually want to come with my hands in a vertical and up position, right? So I'm taking my hands and I'm going this way on the neck, not directly up, okay? So that's the key here. So you have to watch, and so you're gonna think about your angle of the facet and what angle you want. So when you see me working with him, what I'm gonna do is in the upper cervical spine, what do we find? We find more restrictions, right? So with that position, sorry, I'm trying to like angle the camera. This is not the best. I'm not very good with videoing myself. So in the upper cervical, you're going to see that I'm going to implement movement. Why? Because that's what I need at that area. And as I get lower, I'm going to be implementing movement. When I'm in the central part of the spine, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start getting some activation and some control and some stabilization. So we're going to work on that technique. Ready? He's coming right back. Thanks everybody for being patient with me. Okay, perfect. All right, go ahead and lay on your back here. Let me angle this camera again. All right, okay, here we go. So upper cervical. So I don't like this pillow underneath the shoulders. There we go. You all right there? Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. My hand position, remember, is in this position, that nice lumbrical grip, and I'm gonna grip onto the body of the vertebra. So I'm gonna start right at C2, you okay? Yep. And here's what I don't wanna do is directly lift up, right? I wanna be on that angle up and forward, okay? And am I grippy with my hands? No, right? So think of it as a nice up glide in a supine position, okay? And as I travel down, so I feel he is a classic terrible posture in the front of the computer type person. So he does not move. You can see that I'm not getting a lot of movement. Now, what I can do to facilitate some of that movement is I can use contract, relax, right? So here, what I want you to do, go ahead and don't let me move you. So when I'm trying to pick him up, he's resisting. Good, now I want you to relax. And as I get that relaxation, good, he's finding me again, relax now. Now let me move you. I gain movement. So I don't know if you guys can see with my hands, but I gain some movement by doing that contract, relax. So I can do that in the segments of the spine as I get lower, right? When I'm way low in that cervical spine, same thing, very tight. Again, up and forward, right? So it's almost kind of looking like a little traction. How's that feel? Okay, now here's the fun part. That middle cervical spine, that tricky, annoying area that moves too much. So I'm going to come on, right now I'm on C4. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do is go ahead and don't let me move you. So I'm pulling him up, and you're obviously not going to see movement, but I don't want him to move. Now relax. Good. And then what I can do is actually have him do a little bit of a chin tuck. Go ahead and do a chin tuck. You okay there? Come back on that C4. So now I have him in that nice position that I'm trying to educate. Don't let me move you. Hold. Hold it. Hold it. And relax. You okay? Mm-hmm. Good. And we were practicing. Go ahead, do this again. Hold, 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 and relax. You will feel in your hands they're able to start engaging. Was that challenging? He said it was challenging yesterday when we were practicing, but he had that motor memory. Yay. Good. Okay, so now we're going to work on doing some rotation. Okay, so if you come to this side of the, go ahead, you're going to come closer to me. You can use your pillow to help stabilize the neck because I don't want him to rotate. Now I could come up, and again, on the areas of the neck where I want to facilitate movement, I can do this in this position. I'm going to show you a combination of working on movement, but also stability, because again, I really wanted to focus on stability. So my right hand, because I'm going to work on right rotation, I'm going to have him, I'm going to stabilize that shoulder. Now, am I jamming down? No, I'm just making sure that he's not moving. So what you can't see is my back leg. So I'm going to come over here to show you my position, because again, it's hands, but it's mostly legs. So my right leg is back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up. What's moving? My butt. What's engaged is my right butt. So I'm lifting, I'm doing a little bit of scapular retraction and depression, right? Coming up and down with this arm, not grippy with my hands, okay? But I'm using my butt, right, to squeeze. Okay, here we go. So stabilizing with a pillow. You're right there. Okay, right hand, stabilizing the shoulder. Left hand, coming up on the segment of interest on that articular pillar, okay? So I'm gonna look at the middle. Actually, I'm gonna go down. So this is nice, so I can stabilize here, and I can easily feel that I have C6 in my hands, okay? So what I'm gonna have him do, I'm gonna work on a little control here. So contract, relax first. So don't let me move you. So what am I doing? My left arm is actually coming up and forward, right? Am I going directly up? No, that's rotation. I don't want that. I want to work with the articular pillar this way, okay? So don't let me move you. Hold, hold, good, and relax. And as he relaxes, I'm going to take advantage, and I'm going to get a little bit of movement here. Good. So don't let me move you. Hold, good, and relax. Good. And hold again, hold, and relax. So then I can just do almost like a pump type maneuver, just getting that movement. And this is really nice in that hot, irritated patient, you know, where they're not moving. Now I'm gonna come up, okay? And I'm gonna take this hand. Now this is the tricky part. This hand, okay, my stabilizing hand has to find the spinous process of the segment below, okay? So I'm gonna find, right now I'm on C6. I'm gonna stabilize C6. I'm coming on C5 with my top hand. C6 is stabilizing, C5 wants to move, but I don't wanna move here, do I? I wanna stabilize. So what you're gonna do, don't let me move you. So I'm pulling up and forward, come on, fight me, go. Good, hold, 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 hold. This is hard for him. And relax. You're not gonna see movement. I don't want movement, I want control. Ready, hold. Hold, 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 come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Good, I want him to win, but I want him to work, right? Good. One more time, ready? Come on. Excellent. And you can move sequentially up the cervical spine. The key, don't purely rotate, up and forward, right? Stabilize and use this butt for this technique. So that's all fine and well, but now we need to get him into a seated position, because what happens is often we have the symptoms in a seated position. We need to be functional about it. So you're gonna come up to sitting for me. And this is the one you're gonna face this way. Okay, and I may have to play. I think you guys should probably see me from this computer here. Okay, hopefully you guys, okay. So ideally, and I don't have the ability to do it here, but ideally, oh, actually I can. Can you put your feet on this stool? I want his feet stabilized because I want to minimize movement, right? I want to be specific with my forces. So having his feet supported are going to help. I need to be a heck of a lot taller, so I'm going to stand up on this stool here. Okay. Hopefully you guys, I'm going to angle this camera up so you guys can see. Okay. There we go. All right, so what am I doing here? Leg stabilizes thoracic spine. Now, I actually might be a little bit too tall. I don't have the ability to perfectly do this given the table. So I would prefer even a tiny bit. Let's see if I'm here. Yes, I'm not tall enough. Okay. Anyway, this is going to stabilize here. So my movement hand, my mobilizing hand or my stabilizing hand is kind of in a supinated position. And what am I doing now? I'm not going this way, am I? I'm going to go along with the line of the facet of the segment of target, right? This hand, my stabilizing hand, is going to come in and rest, finding whatever segment I want to stabilize. And then I'm going to move the segment on top, right? So I'm coming in and I'm using my left pec here, okay? So I'm coming in at this angle. I'm not coming in at this angle, not good. He's okay with it, but this is the angle I should come up with, right? So I'm using that pec, this hand, stabilizing the segment. Now what I'm gonna do is just work on control. Now, here I'm lower, so I'm stabilizing C6. I want C5 to stabilize. I don't want him to move there. So he needs to learn how to achieve this in a seated, position. Okay, so what I want you to do, don't let me move you. I am pulling, lifting up, bringing C5 forward and up. Come on, fight me. This is hard for him. There we go. Good. And relax. Good. Now again, ready? Find it. Find it. Come on. Now what could we do here? This is a great place in that hot radic patient that I could easily come up and apply a little bit of traction, couldn't I? I know with him, this actually, when I do a little bit of traction, it sends off his radic, so I'm not doing that. But you could easily play and find that right angle. Now, if I want movement, I'm not going to do it in the mid-cervical, but let's go a little lower. I can come here, right? Stabilize, and I can go ahead and resist me first, so don't let me move you. Good, now I want you to relax and let me move, and I can work on some rotation and come back. Good, and just move with me now. Move with me and come back. Move with me and come back. Good, stabilizing. I'm very specific with what, now I can make him work. Okay, so move with me now, come back. As he's coming back, he's gonna feel I'm resisting him. I'm making him work into right rotation. Go, 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 go. Good. And go, 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 go. Good. You okay? Okay. So I can, as I get better, as my patient gets better at activating that specific segment with stability, we can incorporate some movement and have some rotation. How do we do this for a home exercise program? So very similar to our mulligan snags, okay? Except with this one, because I want him to get some activation, I actually want him to work into the band instead of having the band help movement. I want control, motor activation at that segment. Okay, so remember what I taught you? You're gonna face this way.
Which way?
Face the camera. Okay, good. So you're gonna put this here, right, remember? And then, okay. Good. Okay, so as you can see, I don't like that position, okay? So what I'm gonna do initially, and with all of our patients, we wanna guide that movement. So I'm gonna kind of correct them where I want. So what you're gonna do is similar to what we were working on. I'm gonna have you just work. So I want you to kind of resist and then work on some rotation. Good. I'm gonna guide you. There, is you okay? Oh yeah, I'm standing right in front of everybody. You remind me, I tend to do that. Okay, so just work into that band. Good, and as he gets good, what can I do? I can combine. I can have him do a little bit of a chin tuck, if you're able to, without setting off that ridic. How are you there? Do you get that in your arm at all?
A little bit.
A little bit. We have some work to do. But anyway, okay, go ahead and relax. Don't stir it up. Don't want to poke the bear. Okay, so I hope that was helpful for you. So bottom line, what I want you to remember is when you're on the segments that don't move, we're very good, and it's fun, right, to get those irritable, non-moving segments moving. I personally find, and I'm sure you all would agree, the more challenging aspect is to get the segments that move too much to activate. And this is a nice initial way, after you work on some mobilization, in the central area, focus on some stability and actual control, right? Then get them up into a seated position, make it functional, and then give them a home exercise program, right? And see if you get creative. As we know, every patient is different, and you might find, that they're different with each patient. So hopefully you guys can practice that and have some fun. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for listening, and go seize your day. Have a great day. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.